What up, what up? Super delay, I was kind of start off retarded. Dramatic pause, perhaps. I don't know. I'm trying to formulate my thoughts here because today we're going to talk about something very important. A few important things, but one of the most important things is the ongoing debate about whether pie or cake is better. Let's get to music. This is Diabolical Experiments by TechnoX. I'm not sure if he's the composer on it, but he does provide it royalty free over at technoax.com and YouTube, his YouTube channel, TechnoX with a K. Check it out. So let's talk a little bit. As you can see my backdrop, I do take this rather seriously. We are going to talk about Hearthstone, so that's why on Twitch I say that I'm playing Hearthstone. Though right this moment I'm really not, but I was playing on my iPad. So this little dangly thing right here is my e-cig. I know it's kind of dorky, but it's always handy. So that's how much of a smoker I am. I had to have some kind of nicotine fix always nearby, and I'm okay with that. I'm not really addicted. I just enjoy it. I've quit plenty of times, but yeah, it's a good habit for me. So now let's talk about this. I took a quick vote over in the All Games chat, and it was pretty much unanimous that pie is better. And when I say unanimous, shout out to Doom Plague. He voted pie, and the 8 Ball voted for an IRC. So you know everybody has to have 8 Ball because of the channel bots. The 8 Ball said that, you know, I asked the 8 Ball, is pie better than cake? And he said it is decidedly so. But I beg to differ. I can't really say one is better than the other, and I know that's a bit of a cop-out. But right now, I do have carrot cake. I plan to finish it after I finish recording this, but I'm not going to stuff my face while I'm doing this vlog. You know, that's a little disrespectful. I'm not that kind of guy. I might eat while I'm doing Horseplay Live, but that's because we're crazy. Though Obi doesn't like the sound of chewing, which I can understand. Like when you hear someone on doing a video, a podcast or whatever, and you hear it's not good. Don't do that. But let's talk about the pie versus cake debate. All right. First of all, I think the reason cake gets such a bad rep is because a lot of cakes, the flavor resides in the crust. Well, not the crust. If it had a cookie crust, yes, I guess it could count. And it's certain layers will have the flavor, and then the actual cake itself is not that great. It's kind of like you eat the frosting, and there might be some kind of special topping in there, marzipan, whatever. But then the rest is like meh. You know, if you can put maybe a custard on the cake, cool. But then the rest of it's meh. And I gotta say, white cake, I'll eat white cake, and a lot of people choose white cake in weddings. White cake is so bland to me. I love a good yellow cake. Yellow cake, even the Sara Lee's cake mix is pretty darn good. It's just a lot more moist, it's got flavor in it, and I can just eat that cake itself with almost no, or maybe no toppings at all. No kind of additives or, you know, dress ups, whatever, garnish, whatever you want to call it. Yeah, and it's good. But pie, yeah, a lot of variety in pie. So it's tough. Now let's look at cheesecake and flan. Two of my favorite kinds of desserts, other than carrot cake or spice cake, if you prefer. You know, another thing we're going to say is texture. Texture is a big thing. You get a lot of good combination of texture, whereas cake can sometimes feel overwhelming. It might be overpowering, a little too rich, right? But the same thing can happen in pie. Like I had a pecan pie yesterday. It was great, but it was really rich, and I could only eat a small slice, and I was like, okay, I'm good. I just feel the sugar exploding inside of me. It's like, whoa, too much there, buddy. Whoa, buddy. Whoa. But let's talk more about the pie. All right, so cheesecake and flan. Flan is considered a custard, but I would put it maybe in the cake family, because cheesecake is a cake. The word is in there. So, and cheesecake and flan often have very similar textures. Is your mind blown yet? So, if cheesecake is in the cake family, then flan, by extension, has to be. And I love those too. Both of those things are amazing. Now, good flan, I'm talking about good flan, because a lot of people put too many eggs in their flan. They don't get that vanilla or almondy flavor out of it. And the caramel, they either burn it or they make it too sweet. There's a delicate balance in flan, a balance that I'm still trying to perfect. Because when you bake, to appreciate flan, you have to understand how much work it is. Mixing up all those ingredients and getting the air pockets, getting it very fluffy before you put it in the oven. And you have to put it just the right temperature so you don't burn it, but you want it to cook all the way through evenly, bake all the way through evenly, right? And here's the thing. You have to also put it in a baño de Maria, which is just, you take a pan, fill it with water, hot water, and then let it sit around it. So that's to prevent it from getting too hot in any particular areas, and it evenly bakes the flan. And I've made flan that comes out more like cake, and then I made flan that's more like a custard, what it's supposed to be. Very, just melts in your mouth, it's creamy, but it's still solid. You can maybe almost compare it to Jello. The texture is a lot like cheesecake when it's done right. Some people don't like cheesecake, and I don't know. You may not like cheese either, and then if you don't, then really, I won't judge. I mean, there's people that like PlayStation 4, and that's cool too. I said it. So, all this to say, there's more to this debate, because there's a lot of double agents in the cake and pie battle. So you could take cheesecake or flan and bake it in a pie crust, a graham cracker crust, or cookie crust, whatever you want to do. Suddenly, it's a whole different ball game. Now it's a pie. So I guess maybe they might have to be disqualified for this debate. So really think about what I prefer to eat. Just casually, you want to just have something sweet, but that you can nurse. Candy doesn't fill the spot. Something that'll fill you up a little bit, but not too much. You know, candy's great, but it doesn't. It's just something you do, kind of like, bleh, bleh, and then it doesn't really satisfy you, other than the flavors and just kind of chilling, whatever. But this is actual food item, not just a snack. It could hold you over for a major meal of the day, right? Especially if you have a nice glass of milk or alcohol if you want, whatever. Mix the sweets with the alcohol if you're old enough. I don't encourage underage drinking. Okay, all right. Making sure we're clear here. But this is a tough call. Let's see about what kind of pie options there are. I love pecan pie. I love good apple pie. It's made right. Of course, this is all assuming it's made right. A good Dominican cake is amazing. There's a cake called el bizcocho tres leche, the 3 milk cake. It's a big Puerto Rican thing, and that's good too. We won't get into like the sweets and desserts like dulce de leche or dulce de coco. Those definitely don't count, because you can't make a whole pie of that or a cake of that, or eat more than one piece of that. They usually eat those in small doses. Ooh, and turron. Just gonna throw it out. Turron, which is like peanut brittle. Oh, it's good. But with almonds, I believe it's made with almonds. I like to see the. Let me tell you something. If you're not privy to the Latino treats from all the different countries, Cuba, Puerto Rico, Dominican Republic, Colombia, there's so many good things out there. Oh, so many good things. So are we gonna have a definitive winner here? Probably not. If I think about what I'd rather eat, usually the things I crave are more towards the cake world. I know we said we're not gonna count cheesecake or flan, but I don't know. Because pie is definitely a lot more hearty, right? Like if you kind of compare like a soup versus a stew, so usually soups tend to be very brothy, and the stew has a lot of texture to it. That's usually what you get with pie. But a cake could just be just flavorful, you know. I just think a lot of cakes are not made right. Even the professional shops, you know, the experts, they don't get the whole cake thing right all the time. They might be able to decorate a cake and make it look really sexy. Oh, I take a picture, yay! And then it's like doo doo doo. Meh. So, something like that. Maybe you might not make those sounds, but I think that's how it plays out in my head. So you know what? Tell me what you think. Call into 206-415-4987. That's my voicemail hotline for the Geektastic Network and Horseplay Live. Again, it's 206-415-4987. Let me know which one you prefer, pie or cake. And if you like both, explain what the differences are to you and what some of your favorites are in each category. Maybe we'll have a little mini discussion at Horseplay Live when we do the show on Twitch, and then we also distribute through allgames.com. Yeah, we're there now. We're there. And then we're also on iTunes, Stitcher, TuneIn Radio. We're all over the place. For now, since I happen to be eating cake, I'm going to lean towards cake. But I'm thinking, what kind of pie would I really crave for? I already had pecan pie. We talk about apple pie. Lemon meringue pie is alright. What just happened? Someone messaged me? I think someone did. Kazin in All Games says tiramisu greater than all. Sure, when it's made right. Ooh, we're having a debate about what Twitter wants to do. Ooh, this is gonna get good. So Twitter's getting rid of hashtags. Probably sooner than we think. I'm thinking maybe May 2014, this year. Though they really should hold off on our rollout. They're trying to make it more like Facebook, to give it that mass appeal, so it's less about the techies. And there is a lot of abusive hashtags. I don't think they're gonna get rid of hashtags altogether, because if they do, they're gonna lose a lot of their current user base. And they're not gonna gain that many new people, I don't think. Not initially. So it's gonna be terrible for them. They're gonna lose a lot of their audience. I think they're gonna make hashtags less transparent, and then, you know, make it all point and click. So hashtags will still be there for those that want to use them, but for everyone else, it's going to be a point and click, drag and drop kind of experience. Something like Facebook, very dumbed down for mass appeal. I'm sorry, they're making it more accessible. Why am I going to get into that? What else? Because we have more to talk about. Another debate we've been having back and forth, especially Stan Farina and I, and people that have been trying to get on the Hearthstone bandwagon. Gotta wipe the sweat off my brows. A little warm today. Plus I had to close the windows because everybody's being really loud, and I don't feel like turning on the AC because the electric company, they're a bunch of freaking thieves, and I just don't feel like giving them my money. So I'll sweat it out. I'm stubborn. Particularly my better half, she's really stubborn. Because I'll be melting and she'll be like, nope, no AC. I'm like, ugh. I'm about to get the fan in here. That's what I'm about to do. But then you're going to hear it on the mic, so I'll figure out something. Because you're sweating me, not a good look. So anyway, let's talk about, you know, Hearthstone being pay to win. We really go into this discussion deep, and we're going to keep the conversation going on Horseplay. And on our new show coming out, which is codenamed Strategery. That's a Boondock Saints reference right there. So on that show, we're going to talk more about game theory, psychology behind gaming, game mechanics, and strategy, tips, tricks, stuff like that. The inner workings and behind the scenes of video games. It's going to be fun. But, you know, I just got to say, you know, Stan Farina makes some great points. And he says that, you know, I'm making excuses for Blizzard. It's not like they're a bunch of guys working out of a garage. Okay, fair enough. But I don't see the game being a pay-to-win experience. For it to be truly pay-to-win, people that do not invest money in the game, or even time, will not be able to compete or play the game and be competitive. and that has not been my experience. And there are several other people on Twitch and on YouTube and different podcasts that do not put the money on, or they put very little money in, and they are competitive and like better than even most players. Like, that's definitely better than I am. I think Trump's SC on Twitch, one of our fellow broadcasters, he has made several free decks. I think he even made an alt account to test it out. He's made decks without legendaries, without epics, maybe some rares. The thing is going to really change up the ecosystem of Hearthstone is the more people get on, the better matchmaking will be, the more accurate it will be, that you'll get someone close to your skill level. It's never going to be exact. None of these deck building games get it right. That's just it. But they're going to bring back bot battles in the form of adventure mode, so you can play single player. You can currently do practice mode. The Hearthstone iPad app, iOS app, is out in Canada, Australia, and New Zealand at the current time of this vlog. Geektastic vlog. That's right, branding. OP. But you could get it in other places, by the way, if you want to find out how. Geekyantics.net, that's all I'm gonna say. But I just don't see it. I don't see it being a pay-to-win game, especially when compared to other games of its caliber, of its genre. There are plenty of deck building games and social games that have such a terrible paywall. What happens a lot of times to with people that feel like it's pay to win is because honestly they lack the skill and experience. Hearthstone might be their first TCG, or they may just be such sore losers that they want like an 80% win ratio, and 50% isn't good enough. Now Stan and some others that I just recently introduced to the game said they're winning about 1 in 5 matches, and I think a part of the issue is that people don't find the right class for them, and then they're battling people and they're constantly retooling their deck rather than testing it thoroughly, 2 or 3 matches, maybe practicing against bots to see what works and what kind of draws they get, if the synergy is really there. They got the combos and different options, but they don't have an idea of the core, having a core strategy in a certain deck build. And so basically the decks are just like thrown together, and there's nothing really, no real focus, no real end game with them. It's just all luck of the draw. And luck is a big part of deck building games, but you could do a lot to mitigate that by balancing your deck, not having a lot of high level cards and not having too many low level cards because you want an end game. But you could make a really aggressive deck with lots of card draw and low cost plays on Hearthstone just to rush your opponent and be super aggressive, maybe clear the board, have some control, and just control the tempo, right? But I don't see Hearthstone being paid to win. I think it's the TCG, the deck building game for people that maybe never even played those kind of games or even considered them. It's really fun and it's easy to pick up, but there's a lot of nuances, subtle aspects to the game that you'll pick up the more you play, and experience is a big part of it. I would say this is my big argument, and I said this on Horseplay Live episode 17 with Matt Bradford from Zombie Cast and Video Game Outsiders. Shout out, buddy. To me, if experience is pay to win, it also is a connotation there that skill is not as important. That basically, if you get the really good gear, the really good cards, really good drops, whatever you have bought to get a slight edge, then you win. It's almost auto win, and these things are almost auto adds. You always include them because it's so good. But most of the stuff we see out there, especially outside of deck building games, are slight edge items or vanity prestige items that don't really impact the game that much, because developers are smart enough usually to know if they make it so that the people that invested a lot of time and money are just that much better than the new players, they'll never get new players. So trust me, Blizzard is paying attention to this, and I think Hearthstone is more balanced than it has been since the closed beta, really, and it's only going to get better. But anyway, on to some geekyantics.net sneak previews. We've been talking about Hearthstone and how you get the iPad app and some of the ways you can get started right on that game. So definitely check that out. We're gonna be putting up some Horseplay Live highlights and discussion points, and follow up some of the recent discussions on there about realism, immersion, pay to win, all that kind of stuff. More game theory, more game mechanics, and stuff we really love. And I also have a post that's way overdue. A couple of them. One's gonna be kind of a crash course to anime for those that never really got into anime or never really got that into it. Give you like some of my favorite picks and why I think they're must watches. And then I'm gonna do it like from a very casual, passionate perspective, but not like super fanboy. Like I'm not gonna say, "Oh, you gotta watch Death Note. If you don't, you're a noob." No, I actually think you can skip Death Note. Like Death Note is great, but it'll piss you off. So you may regret sticking through the whole series. But anyway, another thing that's gonna be coming is a piece on Doctor Who. And all this banter about how River Song was a terrible character, and the series really needs a strong female lead, blah 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 blah. There's a lot of feminism and all this crap that's going out there. About a Doctor Who's basically a womanizer, and they make him out to be a god. It's all bunk. People are trying to always find subtext in everything. I mean, it's people tweeting about how Frozen empowers the LGBT community, and it's about feminism and female empowerment. And it's like, oh, stop it. There doesn't always have to be a hidden story, a hidden theme. But I guess you can find whatever you want to, everybody could always infer whatever they want. Someone messaged me on. Someone messaged me. They're talking over here. Oh gosh. So Derek H is complaining that he doesn't want to. He's complaining. He's saying that podcasts, are mostly just guys sitting together talking about whatever. He calls them broadcasts. The thing is, getting women on shows and social media, it may be sex does sell, but not always good either, because there's a lot of ditzy girls out there too. Just like guys could be like, "Ha, you said boobies." Well, there's girls that are like, "Hey," they got high pitched voices and they just giggle about everything, and it's like, "Oh gosh, Hello Kitty." But we're not gonna get into that discussion because we're already what are we, like 23 minutes in. This has been a long vlog, so what I'm gonna say is, let's keep the conversation going. I'm gonna try to do some streaming and a little bit here, and I got some Skype messages coming in. I have a friend that's complaining that I'm never on schedule. I am on schedule, just because I don't make time for everybody else. I'm sorry. I got a lot of content to produce, a lot of projects I'm working on, and social interaction is not always in part of that. I'm kind of a hermit. I'm just being honest. But yeah, I don't agree with that. This debate's going over here about uh, the need for. So I was gonna mention it. Do we need women on shows or any kind of social media to widen the scope of discussions? I don't believe so. I believe there's enough sensitive guys out there and guys that could, you know, have serious discussions. But it is great to have women, not just for because sex sells, but there is something to be said about having that variety and that mass appeal, because people respond differently to different genders and gender roles. But having a woman on your show doesn't automatically make it diverse. Just like having different races. See, I don't see anything wrong with like some people are like, oh, most podcasts these days or YouTube shows or whatever are just like two or three white guys talking about the same stuff. That is true to a degree, but you know there is stuff to distinguish. Maybe there might be shades of gray, not that much to separate them. But I don't know. I guess I like to see. I actually see a lot of variety out there, and I like to see new shows thriving. But that's why we're working on some very specific themed shows to switch things up. Everybody's doing the gaming news and new release talk, and I think even on West Play Live, we tend to focus more on the current games we're playing, the strategies in there, the way the meta game is changing in those games. We look at sleeper hits, we look more at the gaming communities, and we do a lot more interaction with our, you know, via voicemail, Twitch channel, IRC. Did I say voicemail? I think I did. Email. A lot of things we do to interact. Tweets. You know, tweets are great for real-time discussions. We don't have so much of a niche, but we do bring a wide breadth of discussions into the show. I mean, we even talked about if it's cool to kill babies during the zombie apocalypse or any kind of epidemic or apocalyptic event, and it was great discussion, all because of The Walking Dead. So we spanned that discussion about The Walking Dead for like 2 episodes. I think it was episode 10 and 11, or 11 and 12, I forget. But you know, I think it's hard. Sometimes when you get a bunch of guys together, we do get very visceral, and there's a lot of adrenaline pumping and testosterone, and you know, we tend to go into the same kind of cliche discussions, you know, about sports and boobies and, you know, half-naked women in the games we like, whatever, you know, that kind of stuff. It's inevitable. But I like to think that we bring a different kind of dynamic with the content we're developing over at Geeky Antics. And we are looking for women to join our network, because we definitely want to make sure we represent a broad spectrum of perspectives, whether you're in different countries, you're of different genders, different gender roles, different religions, ethnicities, nationalities, all that stuff. And the most important thing is, if you have strong opinions, that's great. We love passionate geeks, but make sure you respect other people's opinions. Fordingard has a little bit of trouble with that. He's a little caustic, but we love him. But visit us on geekyantics.net, and if you're of the female persuasion, and I mean you're actually a woman, not a guy pretends to be a woman. I mean, that's cool too if that's your thing. But if you are a woman, if you are a lady, whichever you prefer, we'd love to have you. We need more diversity over at Geeking Antics for blog contribution, blog contributions, podcast hosts, video segments, guest hosts, recurring hosts, everything we think of. Social media engagement, community events, like giveaways, gaming nights, all that kind of stuff. Chat moderators, Twitch channel moderators. There's lots of stuff we could involve people in. So come on over to geekyantics.net. Check out everything we have going on there. And I hope that right now the site, even though it's a beta, gives you a good idea of what's coming. I'm really excited about it, and it's gonna get just better and better. But this is good outro music. So I think I'm gonna start wrapping this up, because I'm about to hit that 30-minute mark. I can't believe that. But a lot of great stuff to discuss today. Just don't forget the pie versus cake debate, and also we have tons of opportunities for people to join the team over Geeky Antics. Whether you're part time, as long as you contribute, and it can be as reliable as possible, or as regular, frequent as about it, consistent. That's the word I'm looking for. We'd love to have you. GeekyAntics.net. And with the pie versus cake debate and some other, any other topics we discuss, if you want to chime in, maybe there's something we discussed on Horseplay Live or on GeekyAntics.net that you want to share your perspective on, email us at geekyantics@gmail.com. That's geekyantics@gmail.com. Or leave us a voicemail, 206-415-4987. Again, 206-415-4987. We will make our best effort to squeeze in voicemails and email messages during the show. I'm actually trying to open up the format of Horseplay Live so we have more community engagement, some more call-in opportunities, and not as much kind of pre-planned stuff. Maybe one or two themed discussions, and then we have our regular segments. But we want to get everybody involved as much as possible. So come on, join us, geekyantics.net, and our voicemail hotline 206-415-4987. 4987. I hope I made that clear. All right. That's the time I get a little fast. I get excited. But I'm definitely very stoked to get some streaming done tonight and try some different stuff instead of playing the usual things. I really want to play some Hearthstone, but I know if I start, I'm not going to pry myself away from it. And I'm trying to do the same thing with League of Legends. I'll put them in my back pocket, because those are kind of like my mainstays. And Dota 2 as well, but I don't have that many people to play with. Not that many people on Dota 2 for me to play with that I know. But yeah, I think that covers everything. This is YogiZilla, and this has been the Geektastic vlog, my weekly vlog, which usually takes place on Sunday. No particular time. Make sure you keep an eye out for that. I put it up on YouTube and Twitch. My channels both are YogiZilla, YogiZilla. Not to be confused with the Yogzilla or that yoga guy that calls himself YogiZilla. I am the original YogiZilla. And yeah, shout out to Clan NOF, Nipples of Fate, and everyone over at Geeking Antics and the AllGames.com community. Appreciate the support, and I'll see you over at Twitch and Horseplay Live and GeekYantics.net. Peace.